So one of the things that you guys that I'm doing, and I've talked about this, I've written about it, I'm training to ride a 100-mile biking race. And so that involves me cycling 5 days a week. I'm trying to get in shape. That means rain or shine, you're cycling. So I was out cycling the other day, and I got video of it. And I wanted to show my wife how hardcore I was training. So I was going through this section that had flooded out, and the water was above the pedals of my bike. And so naturally, what do you do when you're pedaling through, 3-foot water? You take your phone out, you drive your bike with one hand, and you film it. So that's just me filming this as I'm like hardcore. And if you look really close here, eventually this water is moving really fast against the grain here, and it turns my wheel and I wreck. And this is my phone going down a creek. You can see it. It's flipping over as it goes down the creek. It's a Samsung S23, and it is filming this underwater. And believe it or not, this film is 5 hours long.
Oh my God.
So this kept recording and basically until the battery died, right? I tell you what's good about this. Two things. Firstly, that it's that waterproof is amazing.
Yeah.
Right? And secondly, the fact the battery life lasted 5 hours recording video is so impressive.
But what should even impress the listeners even more is like, how do I know this video lasted for 5 hours? Because I came back 24 hours later when the water had went down a little bit and found it. It was still covered in water. It was underwater for at least 36 hours.
What a good advertisement. Because if anybody knows me and water and electronics have issues. And so anything that's waterproof is very important. I remember like on my iPhone reading
and this is
something.
the phone right here, the underwater phone. That's it. S23.
Look at that.
Still works.
I think you just sold me on my next phone. I think I'm sold. I'm sold.
However, this is what I didn't know. So if you're like a lot of people like me, I have a phone and it's connected to my multi-factor authentication. To get in my building where I'm at, I have to have my phone. To log into practically anything, including GitHub, including anything, it's all MFA multi-factor through that to log into anything. That's Teams and everything. So for me, my phone is like a critical piece of work. And so when it fell in the river, I thought it was lost for good. So the first thing I did was I go back to my Verizon store and say, hey, I lost my phone in the river. What do? And water damage, even though it's waterproof, isn't covered.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is insane. That is messed up.
And that's where the story comes from, right? Basically, that this guy, different phone, but
Different
they're all
phone,
the same,
Apple,
apparently.
But none
Same
of them
thing.
cover water damage.
No, the warranty doesn't cover water damage, despite the fact that they're IP68 certified, and these companies put out commercials of the phones getting dunked in water. Like, go swim with your iPhone, go swim with your Galaxy, whatever. Yet the warranty doesn't cover water damage.
You can take video underwater with this iPhone, with your Samsung. I don't know if you can with Apple, but like
That
you
is
can.
insane. Like if you promote it as a feature, but then you don't cover it, that's crazy. Like I wonder what led them to that decision, though. It's
so
like
here's the catch. Here's the catch. What people are saying is, if it is waterproof, and they say it is, it's IP67, but if they don't cover water damage. So if the damage comes from water, they're not going to cover that. But they've tried to make the water damage.
Listen.
Now, what I'll say is, I think it's because IP67 on a brand new phone is different than a 3-year-old phone. It probably loses that water tightness over time. I think there's like a seal that's inside there, and I think it's maybe, or they figure, someone's going to try to take the phone to the beach and just swim with it all the time, like he's swimming with sharks with the iPhone, and like, I'm not covering that,
So-
I guess that's what it is.
I'll give you a hack. It may not be waterproof or covered, but it's not drop proof. So
No.
you know what? You go to the store, but like, how did it break? Your phone is wet. I dropped it and it broke.
Well, okay, so
Did it hit water when you dropped it? Yes, we're not covering that.
No.
Right.
I'm like, no, I'm going to be like, no, it did not. It broke first. and
Well,
they
here's-
got water on it.
Here's the argument, right? The argument is that we're talking about like the manufacturer's warranty here, right?
Right.
Which generally covers like defects in manufacture, those kind of things, right? So this person basically is now suing. They're trying to get a class action against Apple because they're saying that, well, your advertising is being this, yet your warranty doesn't cover it. So that's the part that feels wrong here. Because your warranty doesn't also, your manufacturer's warranty doesn't also cover you dropping it, by the way. What you can get, though, is extra insurance. You can get, if you have an Apple, you can get something called Apple Care Plus.
Yeah.
And you can spend whatever it is. It's $10 a month for my phone.
Yeah.
And it's insurance that then if I damage it, I drop it, they do replace it. Same way if I dunk it in water, it is replaceable. It is covered under Apple Care Plus. Samsung has a great creative one called, guess what? Samsung Care Plus.
Which I didn't have.
Which you didn't have. Yeah. You had something else, didn't you?
I had Verizon coverage.
Which
that's added
basically
onto it.
means
how'd that work
nothing
out?
So here's even worse about it. So I call in there and I call in there and I said, all right, I'm going to replace my phone because she said, tell you lost it. So I did technically lose it. I lost it in a river, but I lost it.
Right.
And so like, I call in there and I said, okay, what kind of phone do you have? And I said, I have an S23 and that great. And this is on a website, a little wizard, you know, you can imagine the wizard, Paul. And it says, select the phone that you want, S23 black or S23 white. And I'm like, I'll take a black one. Fine. Replace it. Sorry, we're out of stock of those. The next thing says, would you want an S24? And I'm like, sure. I see why you're out of stock. What color do you want? Black, white, or purple? And by the way, we're sold out of black and white. And it says the only one I can pick is purple. And I say, okay, I'll pick purple. And it says, we're out of stock. We'll let you know when you're in, when we're in stock. And they gave me no date. And that was the end of the wizard. Just like, in other words, you ain't getting a phone from us, bro.
They're really good.
And so I had to I purchased a new phone in store.
Wow.
And that's when I went back, I found it the next day in the creek, which was kind of great. Because it was it was like a mission at that point. I want to find this phone, you know, like I'm going to find it. See if it's still working.
Basically, you lost your phone. If anybody asks, if anybody has any damage, it's just like, no, I don't even know where it is.
I don't know what happened.
Isn't that phone in your hand? No, that's not that phone. I lost
not the phone.
Yeah, kind of crazy. It just shows you, like, I've had a different experience with the Apple Care Plus. I did smash my phone once. I basically did a chat with them and I said, hey, I've smashed the screen on my phone. How do I go about getting a replacement? I had two options. I could either send my phone in, $29, they'll replace the screen, or overnight me a brand new phone for $99. Yeah. I chose the overnight option. I was like, send me the new phone. I need it. I can't go. I don't have time. I don't have a week to send the phone in and have to send it back. Like, I need the phone. So I spent the $99. They sent me a brand new phone overnight, literally the next day. I think it was here by like 8, 9 a.m. the next day. It was early. Like, it was great. It was a FedEx overnight priority. It was fantastic. Worked to trump. It's the only time I've ever had to use it. So it definitely worked out good. I've heard some horror stories about carrier insurance because they'll do everything to try and not pay you.
Yeah. It's like the Seinfeld thing. You take the reservation, you just don't keep it. So you've seen Seinfeld. That's the way I felt. Like, I paid for the insurance. You just don't honor it. Like, okay, great. But I had to have a phone, so I bought it. I bought a new one.
That is insane.